Department of Justice officially opening a criminal investigation into fired Fed Governor Lisa Cook over whether or not she misrepresented at least 3 properties on separate mortgage applications. Wall Street Journal reporting that subpoenas have already been sent out. This comes days after she sued President Trump, Jay Powell, and the entire Fed Board of Governors over her firing. And U.S. Housing Director Bill Pulte issuing a second criminal referral over a home in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Her attorney, Abby, represented Hunter Biden, saying in court this week that she already made mention of inconsistencies on home loan paperwork, any of them, back in 2022 when the Biden administration was vetting her for the job. What are your thoughts, Gammy? We knew that, that obviously this was likely going to come. Now it has. She's fighting back, Abby Lowell, the attorney. At the same time, she is a Fed governor, and Trump has asked, he said she's fired. She's fighting that, and she says she will not leave her post.
Yeah, the market doesn't seem to care much about this, does it? I mean, we've had the 10-year Treasury yield right now. It's under 4.2%, 4.16%. Nobody thinks that this effort to remove Governor Cook from the board will, jeopardize the Fed's independence to a degree that's worrisome to the market. That's what I'm focusing on. I don't really, the legal aspects, I don't really get.
Well, but we have had some guests come onto the program, and Fox Business has had some market analysts that have come on and said that, that the Fed's independence, maybe not today, but yes, it is something that does matter to the integrity for markets and for decisions on rate cuts going forward.
It very much matters, but I'll tell you something that it has not been spoken about that the market may like. Lisa Cook is a very smart woman. She's a PhD from University of California at Berkeley. But her really strength is not going to be in monetary economics, maybe not so much macroeconomics. She studies what you might call social economics, the impact of race on economic performance. Well, that's good. There's a place for that. But, her appointment to the Fed reflected a movement towards woke as far as what the Federal Reserve was supposed to be doing. The Fed was supposed to take into account not only inflation, employment, but also what does Fed policy imply about trying to achieve racial justice.
Right.
So I think she's not going to be horribly missed if she's gone. And if Trump oversteps his bounds on what he is, how much influence he has over the Fed, believe me, the markets will respond negatively, and he'll take back that type of intervention very quickly.
And that's something that we've had some guests say, Brown.
Yeah, I think it's fair. At the end of the day, it is fair for the Department of Justice to investigate Lisa Cook. It's not an indicative of wrongdoing. It's just an investigation. And if she ends up going to trial, she will have her fair day in court. That being said, I think it is fair for Americans to say what went wrong on her mortgage applications, because the average American would not get away with that. And look, this investigation may turn up and say just what Abby Lowell said. She already explained this away. These discrepancies were, not anything problem. But at the end of the day, the appearance of impropriety for a critical institution like the Fed is enough for some people to legitimately say maybe it resign. I think that's a fair route to take.
Yeah, she's making it clear that she's not going to be doing that. But, President Trump's choice for Fed board governor, this is Stephen Miran. He, yesterday on Capitol Hill in front of the Senate Banking Committee, he was questioned over questionable labor statistics data, as first noted by President Trump. Watch this.
Donald Trump stated that the BLS faked the job numbers before the election to try and boost Kamala's chances of victory. Do you agree with that?
The Bureau of Labor Statistics did not take corrective action to improve the quality of steadily. I believe that they were complacently allowing the data to continue.
Do you have any evidence that they faked numbers?
Well, as I said a moment ago, the data have steadily deteriorated in quality, and I'm happy to give
in other words, just two straightforward questions about your independence, and you've blown both of them.
I'm not going to ask you to filibuster on why you think the BLS data has been going downhill or cooked, when frankly it has been the gold standard.
I'm making the statement that BLS leadership did nothing to arrest the deterioration in data quality.
So, Miran hold the central bank's independence. Democrats pressing him on whether his current role on the Council of Economic Advisors would continue should he find himself with a new job.
I have received advice from counsel that what is required is an unpaid leave of absence from the Council of Economic Advisors. And so considering the term for which I'm being nominated is a little bit more than 4 months, that is what I will be taking.
Well, your independence has already been seriously compromised by your statement. You are going to be technically an employee of the President of the United States, but an independent member of the Board of the Federal Reserve? That's ridiculous.
Look, I'm committed to the independence of the Federal Reserve. I have in the past proposed a suite of reforms to improve governance of the Federal Reserve. That suite was a package deal. It was a system of checks and balances designed to diffuse political power and isolate the Fed from political interference. It would be inappropriate to take one check or balance away from the entire suite.
If I heard you correctly, if you are confirmed to this, you are not going to resign from your current position at the White House? Why did counsel advise you in that way?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't answer why they advise me that way. But
you can determine your own career. You know that, right?
No.
You want to go back to the Council on Economic Advisors after this term. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know what will happen. If I am nominated and confirmed for a longer term than just a handful of months, I would absolutely resign.
So, on it, to be clear, he's saying, look, this is a short-term issue. He's replacing Krugler, who resigned, within a week. It was a very fast resignation. So there's this current spot open. He's saying, let me do this for 4 months. I don't know. What do you make of this? It's rare to see this in Washington.
Yeah, I think it's rare, but I also think anybody who's questioning whether the Fed can remain independent should recall that it was people like President Joe Biden in the 2020 campaign banned the dual mandate to include racial equity. That is not an independent Fed when you have the government trying to institute woke policy. So you can't look at one and not have criticized the others.
Okay, John?
Well, what's new? I mean, as Brianna pointed out, you would have to expect that when the president appoints somebody to the Fed, the president will only appoint somebody who shares the president's worldview or ideology. There's nothing new about this. What's the surprise? I don't see it. And again, if the conducts monetary policy in a manner that makes absolutely no sense, inflation is rising, instead the Fed's cutting rates, well, the market's going to respond accordingly.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, the jobs report we're going to get today, we have to run, but the jobs report is going to be, a critical part of the Fed's decision making.